I'm supposed to be doing my assignments, but let's talk about Annie from The Boys, season 5 finale. A lot of people have very opinionated views of the season finale. I'll be honest, I did enjoy it, but I also recognize that there were certain narrative decisions that didn't make any sense. Moreover, these issues could have been addressed with small writing decisions that I can get into in a later video if you guys want. So let's get this video to 5 likes. Yes, all I ask is 5 likes. You're welcome. Introduction aside, I want to look at the fight between Starlight and the Deep. May his soul rest in Octopus. I'm sure he'd be into that. The first thing many people bring up is that Annie made the wrong or dumb decision by bringing the Deep to the beach near the ocean, where he is the most powerful. At its face, it makes sense. You can't defend Annie's decision on the grounds that she knew the Deep couldn't go into the water. The show never established how she could have possibly known of this information, and it's on the show for doing this. I could easily imagine a goldfish or a crab attacking the Deep in public and having the crew take 1 minute to figure out that the Deep is having complications with his powers. Annie, knowing the effect that emotions have on said powers, would be more inclined to take the Deep there in order for him to grapple with his morals and make the more compassionate choice in reforming his life and taking responsibility over it. So Deep, would you ever take responsibility?
I lost everything!
For once, take some responsibility for yourself.
No!
But we didn't get that, and people are frustrated because it's that simple. It just would take 1 minute of a 1 hour episode. Not having lazy writing should be a baseline. But at the same time, notice how I'm not being concrete about how the two ended up at the beach to begin with. I understand that the nearest beach to the White House is several miles removed, and I'm not interested in making the case that the distance plays a significant part in Starlight's planning when it shouldn't really. I'm more interested in asking how much control Annie had in where they ended up. Let's set the scene, shall we? The boys invade the Capitol. Let's ignore the recent shooting of the Capitol in real life because I don't have any jokes about it. She sees the Deep, who blames her for all his misery and insists that it's a test from God or something dumb like that. She blasts off with him like Team Rocket. Am I supposed to assume the Deep went into her loving arms and flew into the sunset while they had a pleasant conversation? That seems rather strange, right? How willing would the Deep be to not retaliate, even while they're flying? Could them fighting in the air have contributed to Annie ending up in the apparently bad tactical position? I'm sure not many people have given this much thought, but how is it flyers get to their destination in the first place? Think about it. Planes have GPS. Speedsters just follow the roads. Birds have built-in GPS via migration routes. But what did Annie have? If her vision was obstructed, if her sense of balance was off, how much control over the general direction she was flying towards did she have? I don't want to propose unreasonable scenarios not presented in the show, but what if it was cloudy?
No.
So to say, I'm just asking that the people have a bit more leeway as to her flying towards the coast and re-examine the location based on the fact her and the Deep were in active conflict. So I've shared my thoughts as to how they would get there. Now I want to talk about another aspect of the fight. Before I do, for anyone listening still, I ask that you please like the video. And if you enjoyed it, subscribe. I have a sub goal and I gotta get there. One way or the other, so bear with me. Annie drops to the ground like a bomb site. And she attempts to have a heart-to-heart with the man-child. It's at this stage where when she recognizes that she's failed, she should have immediately retreated further inland to avoid any scenarios that the Deep would have had in controlling the animals. The fact that she stayed in the situation is a testament to how she underestimated the situation. And because it seems completely unreasonable that Starlight, who has personally dealt with the Deep for so many years, would make such a tactically flawed decision, can only be answered by bad writing. The moment he said no, she should have either flown away because the Deep had no reasonable way to get to the location that the boys were in at the time, or in time. The Deep had no reasonable way to get back to the Capitol in time. And he could have flown back and helped with the fight with Homelander. She was in the tactically weaker position, having no easy access to electrical equipment, so she couldn't power up. She should have just fled. There's no defending that. That was a completely illogical choice on her part. She ended up winning, but reasonably, she shouldn't even have blasted him towards the sea. She should have reoriented herself to blast him further inland. Like I said, he's strongest in the sea, hypothetically. So her sending him to the sea was not a smart plan. That's all for me. I didn't have a lot to say about the situation. just sharing a few of my thoughts. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for hearing me out, bro.